He wants to be to us. And yet, for Jehovah Rapha, we've got Dr. So-and-so down here at the hospital. For Jehovah Jireh, we've got First National Bank. For Jehovah Shalom, we've got Dr. So-and-so, the psychiatrist that I go to every so-and-so. Not that I go to, but I'm saying representatively. And I'm not saying these people are wrong. I'm saying they help what they can. But I'm telling you, there is a much better way. God will provide everything you need. He wants to be God. Let Him be God in your life. Step out in different areas of your life and let Him be God in that area. Not just God of your salvation to take you to heaven. I mean, why live for the devil all your life and then go to heaven at the end? When I say live for the devil, you know what I mean. I'm not talking about out sinning. I'm talking about just why let the devil, all over your life. And then when you get out of here, God gets, a little bit of your time, and then He's got you through eternity. He needs you here and now. He wants all of your life here and now. He wants you to be a representation of Him here and now. We're talking about a God life in you that is to be exhibited before the public. Now, to get to that, we're going to finish this and we're going to go to Hebrews 1, so just hang on. He says in Matthew 8, 2 and 3, suddenly, in the New Living Testament, a man with leprosy approached Jesus. He knelt before Him, worshiping. Lord, the man said, if you want to, you can make me well again. Now, see, I like that translation because that kind of makes it clear. If you want to. Jesus touched him. I want to, he said. Be healed. And instantly the leprosy disappeared. In the Living Bible, it says, look, a leper is approaching. He kneels before him, worshiping. Sir, the leper pleads, if you want to, you can heal me. Jesus touches the man. I want to, he says, be healed. And instantly the leprosy disappears. Now, I know I read a whole bunch. Same thing several times, but I want you to understand that you'll see this clearly in just a second. In the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, which every Christian should have, okay? And they should be ragged. I mean, they ought to be, the hinges falling off of them, okay? The back. You ought to go through those things. The Bible says to study to be show yourself approved. Actually, that word study means to be diligent. But I want to keep using it in the King James. You should be studying the Bible. How are you going to know what is yours if you don't study it? In Strong's, the number 2309 in the Greek dictionary, 2309, you can write it down. It's the Greek word thelo. And it means this, to determine as an active option from a subjective impulse. Now, he could have chosen the word number 1014, which denotes a passive acquiescence in objective considerations. Now, what in the world does all that mean? It means you got two words he could have used. One means, okay, I will, meaning, okay, I'll do it, just as a passive going along with. The other, the first one, is the Greek word thelo, and it means to choose that word over the other word means he purposely said, it's not just that I'm going along with you in this request. He's saying, this is my desire. It's out of my heart. This is what I want to do. This is representative of what is in me. Now, we think God has the option of changing from moment to moment. This is my will for you. Now, this is my will for you over here. But this is my will for you. That isn't true. God has one will. We proved that last night, or actually we'll prove it again today. That one will is this. God's will for your life, well, actually, it's twofold, but it's really one thing, but it's stated two ways. God's will for your life is that you do unto others as you would want them to do to you. That is God's will for your life. You do that, you'll be in the will of God. That's simple. Not hard. Not 23 steps to find God's will. Just go out and do what you want other people to do to you. Secondly, the will of God is this, that you be conformed to the image of His Son. That's it. And that includes everything. Okay? Every way. You cannot say you're conformed to the image of His Son if you do not have the fruit of the Spirit, because Jesus had the fruit of the Spirit. If you don't have the character of the Spirit, because Jesus had it. If you don't have the gifts of the Spirit, because Jesus had those. And if you don't have the power of God to accomplish the will of God on the earth, you cannot say you are representing His Son or that you are conformed to His image. To be conformed means to be shaped and molded into an exact representation. In other words, it should be that whenever we all stand before God, He looks out there and says, Well, which one of you, where's the real Jesus? Where's he at? Excuse me. Raise your hand. Jesus, where are you? Because he shouldn't be able to tell a difference between us. That is how much we are to be conformed to his image. An exact representation, a mirror image. A mirror image, do you realize when you look in the mirror image, you're seeing an image, right? But what you're seeing is actually that person. It's in a reflection, but it's that person. And that image is what reflects the nature of the person that you're looking at. Now, notice this. Watch this. This is going to be, I think you're going to like this because this really helped me. It means to choose or to prefer, literally or figuratively. By implication, to wish, to be inclined to. It means to delight in. It shows, now listen to this. Now this is all out of the dictionary. This isn't thoughts or my ideas. This is a dictionary of the Greek word that was used there. And he says, showing a disposition of the nature. Now that goes a lot further than just, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Here you go. I'm just going to show you I'm God. Here, get healed. He was saying, I'm going to show you this is my disposition. You know, we talk about people's disposition. He's got a good disposition or a bad disposition. This was a disposition of his nature, of what is in him. Now, it shows, it is the Greek word thelo, or even called ethelo, in certain tenses, to will, to have in mind, to intend, to be resolved or determined, to purpose, to desire, to like to do a thing. To be fond of doing something. In other words, he's saying, this is my heart's desire. This is what's in me. To take delight in. To choose this word, 2309, rather than the word 1014, shows the purposeful intent and determination rather than just saying, okay, whatever happens, happens. See, in America, we have what I call the Doris Day gospel. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be. Okay? Now you know why I preach and don't sing. That's why I stand back there during worship, so maybe you won't hear me. But that's the kind of gospel we have. Que sera, sera. Whatever. Well, we don't know what God's will is. We just have to wait and see. Whatever happens, that's God's will. That is such a lie. And most of that comes from people that do not have the power of God in their life to be able to prove God's will, so they have to come up with excuses and say, well, that was God's will. Sorry, you didn't have enough faith, didn't have enough this, didn't have enough that. You just got to be consigned to the will of God. Well, let's see how consigned you are whenever that cancer jumps on you. Then you're going to be trying to find somebody with faith. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, most people that are sick really don't give a flip about the will of God. They'll do anything they can to get out of that sickness or disease, even if it means getting out of the will of God, because they know they have grace, they can come back to God later. That's the kind of gospel we have in America. And you say, well, okay, let me ask you something. If healing is not God's will, and you're not sure it's God's will, then why do you go to the doctor? Why do you take the medicine? If it's not God's will, or if you're not even sure, you don't even know. You say, well, I don't know if it's God's will to heal me or not. Then why are you trying to get healed? Are you trying to get out of God's will? If that's God's will that you be sick, don't take that medicine. You'll be out of God's will. Now, if it is God's will to heal you, or it is God's will that you be well, then why don't you go to him? Kind of narrows it down, doesn't it? I have seen so many cases. I've had plenty of opportunity to live what I'm preaching. I told you the first night here about my first daughter that passed away. She died of double pneumonia. Shortly thereafter, the second daughter that was born to us, 9 months later, identical twin, exactly what we believed God for, even to the point where we told people it's going to be a daughter, it looked just like the first one, but perfectly healthy, no health problems at all. 9 months later, she was born, an identical twin, even the same mannerisms of the first one. And we're like, glory. And everybody kept telling us, well, now don't get upset if you don't get what you pray for. Don't get, God's going to give you what he wants you to have. He wants me to have what I want to have. He wants me to be happy. And I said, we kept standing, confessing, believing, did everything we knew. We're going to have a daughter, it's going to be like this. Well, that's good. They all think, well, when their daughter died, it did something to them. Yeah, it did. It made me desperate and made me hungry. It made me go after some things and made me reject a bunch of garbage that I'd been taught before. That's what it made me do. And what happened was, whenever she was born, and we're all standing there like, see, this is what God does. He gives you what you ask for. He'll answer your prayers exactly the way you pray them. He will give you what you ask for.